Hey there everyone, I'm Jonas and this is the OMPHOBBY M7, and as you might know, I'm responsible for its existence. So today I want to take you on a tour of the entirety of the M7, going over the design features, all the little tidbits, all the details, everything you've been asking for. We'll also discuss the kit contents, what you will get with your M7, what you can equip your M7 with, and just in general, an overview over how it works. So let's start with the M7 itself. The M7 is a fully fledged 700 size helicopter. It can swing up to 715 main blades with 116mm tail blades, and it has a flying weight with an average setup of around 5,300 grams, so just over 5 kilograms. The naked airframe, including canopy, battery tray, flabberless damper mass, with that as we'll get into later, also the motor pinion and all mounting hardware for motors, servos, all that stuff, is 2,225 grams. So it's a pretty good weight for the bare airframe. And now you can just add your electronics and see where you end up with your flying weight. The M7 comes with a fully enclosed, beautifully airbrush painted canopy, which gives it a unique and distinct look. And this canopy is by default equipped with quick release knobs, which you can just undo and then slide the canopy off the helicopter. And let's quickly take a look at the canopy itself. The canopy is a fiberglass laminated full canopy. It is closed in the front, except for some ventilation holes. It is airbrush painted, and it weighs about 200 grams. Now the first canopy we're going to look at is the tropical pink canopy, this one right here. This canopy features a pink and green paint scheme with a white and blue OMPHOBBY logo on the windshield. And it is generally just a very, very visible and very fresh looking canopy color. Next up, we have the lime canopy, lime yellow, which is a yellow and green canopy. Perfect for those spring months where you get all these blooming nice colors. Next up is the sunset orange canopy. A very, very bright fluorescent orange canopy with blue accents. It is definitely one of the most visible canopies I've ever seen. Also with excellent differentiation for different orientations. Top, bottom, left, right. Beautiful canopy. And lastly, we have the topaz gold canopy, which is a golden canopy with blue accents. Also very, very beautiful. Gives you a nice shine and shimmer and also very good visibility actually in the air. And because it's just so shiny and catches the sun in many different angles, your helicopter will look very, very special with this canopy. So these are the canopy options for the OMPHOBBY M7. There should be something for everyone in there. One of the favorites of our team pilots is actually the tropical pink canopy, which is also why I'm using that one for this video. But let's get back to the helicopter and take a closer look at that. So let's get to the OMPHOBBY M7's airframe itself. Starting at the rotor head. The rotor head is a long throw rotor head, which gives you very, very large control throws. Just like the M4 and M4 Max, you will never really run out of control authority with this helicopter. We have very large dampers inside. Standard will be rubber dampers, but there will also be a POM option for those who prefer it. We have dual row bearings in the blade grips. The bearing arrangement is like on the M4, radial, axial radial, for larger bearing spacing and better grip guidance. There will be two different kinds of grip arms. One shorter one for more direct control and one longer one for more linearity, for example for F3C flying. In the rotor head block itself, you can see it right here in this bearing, is a centrally hinged pivot for the spindle shaft, which prevents it from moving up and down or out of phase with the rotor head. So you will get extremely crisp collective and very, very straight phasing on the rotor head, which always stays the same no matter how much you load it up. Further down, we have a very big swash plate, also with a very maintenance-free dual row bearing. And all the ball joints on the helicopter are dimensioned really, really big and very, very beefy. So they have really long lifetime and don't wear out quickly. And you also do not run the risk of having one jump off in flight. Moving on to the upper frame, which is a 2-plate design made from 2mm carbon fiber. You can see it has wiring routes included, already machined in, so you just need to zip tie your wires down. There's also different options. These ESC wires you see on the outside here, you can also route on the inside. There's a cutout in the motor plate to make that possible. Speaking of plates, the ESC plate has accommodations for all modern ESCs, for Scorpion Tribunus 3, for Hobby Wing, Contronic, YGE, and also for our upcoming OMPHOBBY ESC for the M7. You can just bolt them down with M3 screws. But if you prefer to actually strap your ESC down, you also have slots in the frame and in the plate for your Velcro straps. Next up is the motor mount, which is in here, which has a counter bearing support in which the pinion runs. The pinion is actually the guided part, so your motor shaft can be whatever length it wants to be, from about 15 to 69 millimeters. The only requirement is 6 millimeters diameter, but that's a given these days. This motor mount is also connected to the main plate inside the frame by a tab reaching into adjustable nuts, which can slide back and forth for gear backlash adjustments. And that guarantees perfect coaxiality of the pinion and main gear every time. So adjusting the mesh is as simple as shifting the motor, tightening down these 2 screws that go in here, and then tightening down the screws on the side without worrying about coaxiality of the gears or the gear mesh shifting again. Whatever you set will be easily set forever. Now onto the midsection of the helicopter. You have an upper plate, a lower plate, and a coaxiality dome in between, which guarantees perfect bearing alignment. On the outside of these plates, the servo mounts are bolted on, and you can see all servos are mounted upside down to reduce linkage tilt shortening from deflection of the servo arms. The servos are also mounted with specially made spacers, which adhere to the established standard servo mounting. So 49.5 by 10, 5mm diameter, and 2.5mm thickness mounting tabs can be mounted with these spacers. If your servos do not conform to these dimensions, you will have to use the included servo hardware. Moving on to the flabberless platform. We have a large damped flabberless platform with an optional damper mass, which is able to reduce the vibrations getting to the flabberless system further. More about that later. This platform is mounted to the boom clamps, which are bolted into the frame, into the upper and lower frame for extra stiffness. These are also made from 77.5 aluminum, just like any highly loaded part like the main rotor head, the gear hub, tail mounting pieces, tail rotor pieces. All that stuff is actually 77.5, not 66.1, so very high quality stuff. And the boom is just clamped with these 2 screws in the lower frame. These 2 screws are all it takes to take out the boom. You just release these screws, take the belt off the pulley, remove the lower counter bearing, so I guess it's 6 screws, pull out the boom, you're done. Further in the upper frame, we have a large 18mm thick, 120 tooth main gear. This main gear is machined from palm, so it's not injection molded, but rather a machined gear, which gives it extra strength, and it's mated with a bronze pinion in the front. The pinions range from 11 to 15 tooth, so 10.9 to 8.0. The pinion in the kit will be a 13 tooth pinion, so 9.23 ratio, which is perfect to pair with the Sunny Sky 4530 518 kV to fly 3D with, or you can also gear it down and fly smoother. Inside the main gear sits a 15mm sprag clutch as opposed to a needle roller one-way bearing, and this sprag clutch grabs directly onto the 15mm main shaft, which is locally hardened to prevent the sprag clutch eating away at the shaft. So you get very consistent, very reliable power transfer from your motor to your main shaft. Right below the main gear sits the 110 tooth tail pulley with an 8mm belt on it, which runs all the way to the tail to drive the tail rotor. This belt is a GT3 profile belt, so it's very, very slip resistant. The belt runs in 2 idler pulleys with very large bearings for long service life, which can be adjusted with our helically driven belt tensioner right here. More on that later. Just know that you do not need any tools to adjust the belt tension from completely loose to way over tight, and it is the most convenient thing in the world. I'll get to that later. Moving on downward, we have a molded, carbon fiber molded lower frame, which is made from real carbon fiber. It is not injection molded and painted. It is not a fake carbon fiber. It is real carbon fiber through and through, which makes it extremely light, extremely durable, and enables us to hit an exceptional weight target with exceptional durability for this helicopter. I actually have one of these plates here. This plate only weighs 82 grams as opposed to about 130 grams for a flat plate plus aluminum rail of the same size. And it is beautifully shiny glossy with a clear coat. And it is incredibly stiff, which adds to the overall stiffness of the helicopter. And over the course of like 20 crashes or so, we've only broken 2 of these. So they are very, very durable, very resilient to crashing. And as you can see, they come blank. So these stickers you see on the frame, they're a separate entity. I can actually show you these. Here are some of the sticker sheets. This is for green helicopters. Each helicopter will come with its own pair of sticker sheets, 2 colored and 1 in white. And also these vinyl stickers for the tail boom, the frame, and with my signature on it. Each canopy will get its own stickers and also its own colored tail boom, to which we will come later. But just to tell you which colors you will get, the orange canopy will get orange stickers and an orange tail boom. The gold canopy will get blue stickers and a blue tail boom. The yellow canopy will get green stickers and a green tail boom. And the pink canopy, the tropical pink, will get pink stickers and a pink tail boom. You can then decide if you want to apply these stickers or not, if you want to partially apply them, if you want to go with the all-colored look or with the same kind of sticker sheet just in white for increased visibility. That's up to you and to your personal taste, of course. Back with the helicopter. As I mentioned previously, we have the battery rails integrated into the molded frame. So if I open the battery release latches, I can pull this battery out. Comes with 2 battery trays each kit, so you can mount 2 batteries, and these will obviously also be able to be purchased as spare parts. For inserting them back in, just go in, align the tray, slide it in, twist the knobs, it clicks in beautifully, and you're done. Also inside the lower frame is the tail servo mounted down there. You can see probably. It also comes with 2 additional accessory plates, one by the tail servo and one up front here. For example, you can mount our capacitor back up on one of these plates, preferably the one in the rear. That's where I put it. And then just wire it up into your Flabber system. At the bottom, we have a traditional skid landing gear with tubes. Actually, this landing gear is not the right color for the helicopter. The orange and gold helicopters will come with black landing gears, and the yellow and pink helicopters will come with white landing gears. So just to avoid confusion here. Now that we have gone over the design elements of the mainframe, let's move on to the tail section. Well then, this is the tail of the M7. Start with the boom. The boom is a 32mm diameter strutless boom, as you can see. Beautiful carbon fiber in this variant. But you will also get this one right here with the kit, depending on your canopy, of course. You will get 2 booms with your kit, one in carbon fiber, one in aluminum. The carbon fiber is the high performance boom because it is like 30% lighter than the aluminum boom. But the aluminum boom is like a very, very high visibility option. You basically cannot lose the helicopter in the sky with this one. Also, look how well it matches the canopy color. They're the same color. So yeah, 2 tail booms in the kit, 1 high performance tail boom, 1 high visibility tail boom, and you can choose which one you like better. On the OMPHOBBY M7 riding on the tail boom, as I showed you, will be stickers, so you can apply that or not, whichever way you like. And let's move on to the actual tail section of the helicopter, which is something I'm very proud of. And let's start with the tail case. Tail case, which I also have one over here. The tail case is a single piece milled aluminum housing, which weighs only 24.8 grams. This is one of the lightest tail cases on the market. Extremely durable, due to smart selection of wall thicknesses. So in a crash you will not bend this, but it still gives you extremely high performance on the elevator and yaw axis. Bolted into this tail case is a carbon fiber tail fin, which will be delivered as a blank carbon fiber fin, to which you can then apply stickers, which I showed you earlier, and then bolt to the tail case. Inside the tail case runs a 22-tooth pulley with pressure idlers to prevent any belt skipping. You cannot skip the belt on this helicopter. We've tried, trust me. And sticking out of this tail case is a 6mm tail shaft with a tail rotor and tail mechanics on it, which is actually not very far away from the M4's tail rotor, very closely related. It is the same long throw design that we used on the M4 with very large bearing distances, so you get long linear travels for your angles, which minimizes play and slop and gives you impeccable tail control. The tail grips also feature dynamic weights to reduce tail rotor loading, and you can fly basically any tail blade that you want, up to 160 millimeters. We of course recommend the Rotor 106 Ultimate, which comes with the kit. Other than that, tail control angles, clockwise 45 degrees, anti-clockwise 33 degrees. So a perfect setup for exceptional tail control. Long throw tail, you will never run out of tail thrust with this one. Well then, let's get into some of the details of the M7. First off, the blade grip spacers. How does it work? You have the grip and the spacer and a specially made steel bushing, which goes in from the top through the hole and then presses into the spacer. So the spacer is actually retained when you take out the blade. So you can take out one set of blades, put another in without having to fiddle or align any spacers. And these spacers are also made of plastic, which gives a very nice and smooth movement to the blades, which is also very helpful for the rotor dynamics. Another detail I mentioned is a damper mass on the Flabberless platform. Well, that is a steel block which can bolt to the bottom of the platform. And as you can imagine, this thing is really, really heavy. So when the helicopter vibrates, vibration is just motion. So the helicopter shakes real quick, but the inertia of this mass on the platform cannot catch up with that quick movement. So it stays more stationary than if it was not there and helps filter out some of the vibration that goes to the Flabberless system. Generally, we only recommend this with ICM 20 series gyros. So for example, Evo V1 or Brain 2 V2. Any other IMUs, the MPU 6000, Bosch Beam I270 and 088, the ICM 42688P, also ICM 46090. They all don't need this, so only install this if your Flabberless has one of the mentioned IMUs, specifically ICM 2602, ICM 2649, and ICM 2689. These are the most susceptible to vibration. And now on to the feature that probably everyone has been waiting for, the belt tensioner. How does it work? What does it do? This little knob right here has a little pin inside, a threaded pin that is guided. And if you turn the knob, for example clockwise, you will push this pin inward because the knob is threaded on the inside and the pin is threaded on the outside, just a nut with the screw. And that pushes the pin inward. What does this pin do? Well, this idler pulley right below the tensioner is hinged. And as you push in this pin, you push onto the hinge of the idler pulley, pressing the idler pulley inwards into the belt. So this is a permanent tensioner with which you can permanently change the belt tension. If you open it all the way, the belt will be very, very soft and slacky. And if you tighten it all the way, well, the belt is going to be almost too tight to fly. So you have the full range of motion in this tensioner. The initial belt setup is also the easiest thing in the world. You just open up the screw all the way, pull the pin out all the way, pull the boom comfortably until the belt is kind of taut. Then you tighten the two clamping screws, and then you just reset the belt tensioner to the center position, and your belt will have very good tension for flight. If it loosens up before a flight, you can just crank it in a bit. If you find that it is too tight, you can open it up a bit. It should always be just around the central position somewhere. If you're at one of the extremes, you should adjust your belt. But for example, if you're at a competition and you need to retension your belt quickly before a flight, and you do not have tools on hand or the nerves to do it, you just give the tensioner screw a couple turns and you'll be good to go. This knob is also a very good indicator for the belt tension that you have and the tensioner precision, because as the screw is flat and flush with the front face of the knob, the tensioner assembly is in its neutral position, so in exactly the same position as the other idler on the other side, which is fixed. One thing I forgot to mention, the main grips each have a little screw right here, 1 and 2, and these screws are for lubricating the axial bearings, so you do not need to take anything apart, just take out the screw, put a bit of grease in there, give it a couple turns, and you'll be good. So yeah, that is it for a general airframe overview over the M7. And this is my interpretation of what a 700 size helicopter in 2024 should be. This helicopter is very, very versatile. I'm actually currently building a low RPM machine with one of our 4520 motors, low profile servos, and actually 2 blades out of a tri-blade set. But it can also be a fully fledged competition 3D machine. The M7 is currently in final testing with our team pilots. Everything is going well so far. These helicopters are actually from the production line, as they will be produced later on, so everything you see here is what you will get. And if everything goes well, you should see these helicopters in the shelves just after Chinese New Year. So late February to early March. To go back and reflect a bit on the kit contents, you get the helicopter, you get 2 sets of rotor blade washers, you get 2 battery trays, and 3 sets of stickers, 2 colored ones, 1 in white, with which you can customize your helicopter. You will also get 2 tail booms with your helicopter, 1 carbon fiber tail boom for high performance, and 1 painted aluminum tail boom for high visibility, which you can also freely choose, just the way you like. You can get the helicopter in 4 canopy colors, as shown, and there are options for just the kit with Rotor Tech 700 Ultimate, which are also one of my designs, and the kit with the Rotor Tech 700 Ultimate, and the Sunny Sky 4530. Both at very compelling prices. For example, I think the kit with blades is only $80 more than the kit without. So you can get one of the best 700 blades with your helicopter for a very compelling price. I think that is it for now. That is the OMPHOBBY M7 for you. Stay tuned for information on pricing, more details on the helicopter, and the release, of course. And, well, I hope you enjoy your future 700. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.